Okay, we want to call this meeting to order, please. And we're going to start with the invited guests, public participation. And we have Michelle Cunningham is going to talk to us, or one, the other. So we're ready.
My name is Norm Mars. I'm the region manager for Durham School Services. I'm Michelle's immediate supervisor. So I read the minutes of the last board meeting and the comments that were made. Michelle has gone through all the write-ups of the buses that were turned in by the drivers for the last year, and we did examine all the buses and we did find mold, and I think, how many buses, Michelle?
I think about like 4 or 5 of them.
And they have been sanitized and cleaned up so that that's been resolved. But the interesting part was that none of the mold had been reported on the bus write-ups. And of course, I think you're aware that many of the drivers take their buses home. So in order for us to resolve problems with them, they have to report them. So we will now be checking the buses when they come in. We have a method set up so we can check them to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Anybody have a question?
Does anybody have a question for Michelle? Mr. Rush, or excuse me, Mr. Stivers and I met with Michelle. We had a meeting scheduled already to talk about routes, and she informed us a little bit about park outs and different things and some strategies they were going to try to use next year to keep a better eye on their buses and hopefully keep that from happening again. Any safety concerns, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't know if anyone else from the board had any questions for her.
All the buses have been inspected though by the state and been approved as of this time.
Yes.
Okay.
And you all talk about.
And all the buses are going to
Yes.
be park-ins?
Not all buses. We are going to do for any of the in-town routes for high school, middle school, those routes are becoming park-ins. And then Jason, Mr. Hayes, and I will get together and see how that works, and then we'll discuss furthermore.
We're not doing away with the park outs, but we will be instituting policy where the buses have to come in and be inspected.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we were going to do every other month, but I think we're going to do like a quarterly, have the buses come in for a bus wash, clean, and then back. So you're able to go sub-bus for a day and then get your bus back.
That sounds good.
What is the average mileage on the buses?
Anywhere from, on an average, probably about 140,000 miles.
I don't think there's any higher than that.
There is some that's higher. You know, we have one, but it's not going to be back in the fleet this year that did have almost 200,000 miles. But, you know, on average, probably about 140 to 150,000 miles.
So that'd probably be the highest mileage we'll have on our
Yeah.
buses.
Yeah.
that we'll be on.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. First one is, if a problem with that bus is reported, how soon is it acted upon? And is it acted upon seriously? And my next question is there a set schedule that is in writing of the maintenance schedules on these buses?
Yeah, they have a PM compliance. It's actually computer-based for the PM compliance for the maintenance to go through. This coming year, we will have a Zonar in effect. So Zonar, what they'll do is, as soon as that item is like reported defective, it's going to send the right to our maintenance director. He'll get everything and they'll be able to do the maintenance. But now on a write-up, on our park outs, they come in once a week with their write-ups, as long as there's no write-ups or defects on the bus. If there's a defect, that has to be reported. You know, it depends on the maintenance schedule. If there's a severity, obviously that bus is going to be taken in and repaired.
Just so you understand, there's a preventive maintenance schedule that the buses have to maintain, and that's tracked by computer. If it's not, we have an on-site full-time mechanic and on a second mechanic part-time, so we have on-site mechanics here as opposed, I think the other bus company had their maintenance done in Gartmanville, but we have a full shop here. But if the maintenance is due for the bus and it's not reported, well then not only does he get a reminder, but the region maintenance manager and I get an email that such and such a bus is due for service, and we'll call up and remind them that it has to be done or the bus has to go out of service. And with this Zonar, basically the way that works It's electronic if, let's just say if the bus has a burned out tail light or the bus has a burned out marker light. If the driver enters that into the Zonar unit, it electronically sends a message to the computer in the shop so that the shop manager knows that that bus has a defect. And the company has instituted a policy depending upon the severity. If it's a minor issue, they've got 24 hours to clear it. If it's something of a safety issue, the bus goes out of service until it's repaired.
Durham has been in business all over.
I'm sorry?
Durham has buses all over. I know it on the street.
Communication is being,
Well, I think with the electronic system, it'll be much quicker. We won't be waiting for a paper write-up. It'll be, if they enter it into the Zonar, it immediately sends it electronically to the shop computer. But not only does it send it to the shop computer, it sends it to the corporate headquarters, and the upper management of our maintenance department monitors those. If somebody gets behind on their compliance, there's repercussions.
how many like extra buses or, spare buses do you all try to, you all?
We always have about 4 to 5
4 or
extra
5
spares
extras
on the lot.
on the lot.
Yeah.
So they're always ready to go, so if, driver doesn't need to feel like they have to drive the bus because they can't get another one.
I have a question over, somebody had a question.
Yeah, I did. We do, just so you all know, because I know some of y'all don't know anything about a bus, you know what I'm saying about what we do every morning. We get on our bus and we pre-trip it. And when we pre-trip our bus, that's when we find out are our lights working, are our 8-ways working, windshield wipers, the gauges, tail lights, headlights, things like that. And you do catch a lot of stuff when you're pre-tripping your bus. You don't always. For granted, I mean, we may check our tires and go down the road and we have a flat on the inner and you didn't catch it. That happens. I mean, that happens to everybody. But when in the beginning with Durham, we did not have to turn our pre-trip sheets in weekly or daily. And then probably maybe 3/4 of the way through. About October, they started requesting them every Friday. So it's a copy. It's a carbon copy. There's a white copy and a yellow copy. So we would all get them into the office by Friday so that they could see, what's wrong with the buses. But I'm going to use mine for an example, my bus. I have a great running bus. I'm not complaining about the way my bus runs. But when you pre-trip it, we had, and as far as the mold, nobody wrote that down. For me, I'm not talking, this part here, I'm talking for myself. The mold, I had no idea that's what that was on my bus. I thought that when I got my bus, I had a dirty bus. I really did. That the ceiling was just black and up over my mirror was black. But I had a lot of breathing and health issues. And they thought that they even checked to make sure I didn't have pneumonia or something. And, I was on antibiotics a couple times. Well, then we went on Christmas break. I was okay. Then we went on spring break. I was okay. And I've not had those issues since. But, however, I didn't write the mode down on my pre-trip. So, because I had no idea what that was. There is stuff that's been written on my pre-trip, and like I said, I'm only talking for myself here, but my pre-trip, and it's probably been on there for at least 6 months, that my hatch leaks. And I can tell you exactly how I word it because I word it the same way every time. My rear emergency hatch leaks. It has a hole in it. And water comes down, gets 6 seats. This is what mine says. It gets 6 seats, the aisle, and it comes, and it gets them all wet, and the students. I mark those 3 things, that it gets the students wet, 6 seats, and the aisles wet. A lot of times it comes all the way up to where I'm sitting. And that's a hazard for the kids. So, I mean, there's little things that can be improved with everybody. And, but as far as the mold, and I'm going to get back to that because that's really important to me. As far as the mold, Yes, and I've been one that's been help cleaning these buses up. We have a lot of buses that have that mold on it, a lot. I would, I know we've cleaned at least 9 or 10 already that's got it on there. And, I've not been there this week. I have other things to do, and a matter of fact, I need to get back to church. I've got vacation Bible school to get back to, but there is a lot of things for improvement, communication, mold, I don't know, and it's,
Jason and I had a meeting, you know, and we addressed the concerns that you all brought to us, and they agreed, and they have, hopefully, are gonna get, the communication is gonna be a lot better, pre-inspection trips, plus this new computer program. It seems like they're trying to work, we're just gonna see how it goes as of right now. They've admitted on the mold, and they've cleaned up several of them. Jason, you got anything?
And Michelle, you're gonna come back at some point and let us know how, if parking in is better. We didn't want to institute a parking for everybody, because that's gonna drive our costs up, especially for drivers that live way out.
Let's say the first month we'll get
Right.
together, just kind of talk about it.
Come back to the board, let us know how things are going, and then if you guys wanna come back and let us know. We just want safety first for our kids, that's the most important thing.
I'd also like to comment that there was one bus that they couldn't get the mold out of. We sent that bus to another terminal that has a drive-through wash bay that's got high pressure equipment and everything. And she did address today when we were meeting that the buses that have been reported that those hatches leaked there, they've bought some caulking. They're going to caulk up those leaks to hopefully that'll solve them. We can't totally seal them, because if you do that, they won't open, and then they won't pass inspection. So,
Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
We got school coming up in about 3 weeks. Are you guaranteeing us as a board that the safety of our kids are the number one thing? Are you telling me right now that every one of these buses will be road ready, safety ready when school starts?
Absolutely.
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 Okay.
And only one last comment that I would have is I would just encourage you all as drivers, I think you do a good job, but just, you know, these folks sitting at the office, unless you all, you know, kind of, if you have an issue, let them know it. You know, they're going to sound like going to fix it, but you got to, you know, communication, it doesn't cost anybody a lot. Just, you know, just let them know. If there's a concern, you know, and don't feel like it's, you know, they're not gonna, you know, fix it, or you're afraid they're gonna look bad at your bus or your route. Just, you know, just talk. We all live here in Massac County. We all care about our kids. Ain't that right, Art?
All right.
Yes,
Since we've had, okay, Art, that'll be the last one.
we should. The one thing and I may not have a job, but I'm gonna say it, is that we brought these buses here like this. They didn't get like this because since they've been here. We went and picked them up in Mount Vernon, and it had it in it. And they come from other places. So we didn't know what to call it. But we brought it here. And one more thing, and then I'm through. I don't think Durham thinks enough of us here. Because if they did, they wouldn't have brought them buses here with that mold in it. They came here, they were dirty. They came dirty and nasty. If you're concerned about Massac County, you wash the things before you bring them to Massac County. That's my idea of it. The drivers here, you know, we item number one is that we are parents and we're grandparents. That's item number one. Item number two is that we're taxpayers and we expect a first-class system. And then item number three, we bus drivers. We have nothing personal against the people within the system. The problem that I have is with Norm. Norm introduced himself. He should have known that there was mold in them buses from up at Mount Vernon. I asked for an air-conditioned bus, and they sent one from Missouri. I think I mentioned it the last time. Fire extinguisher with a tag of 2012, 2013. You're going to tell me that you're concerned with my grandbaby, and my grandbaby gets on a bus that the fire extinguisher may not work or may work? No, you can't convince me of that. When they get on the bus, the fire extinguisher should be updated. And all of the buses out there, they're not. They're still not. You know, I get upset because of the fact that the bus that I asked for, an air-conditioned bus they brought from St. Louis down here, fire extinguishers 2012 and 2013, it was dirty and the whole dashboard did not work. And Norm knew the dashboard did work because he was here that day. You know, and you're going to convince us that you're that concerned? You know, I don't have to have your job, so you can fire me tonight. Okay. But you're not going to sit here and with these people who sit here, who are board members, and play dumb with them. We were promised 85 cents an hour that we never got. From you, Norm. You promised it.
Okay, thank you, Art.
You're welcome.
All right, we're just go next to the.
And then gonna sit here and play them damn games.
Obviously, I don't look at every bus. They asked for an air-conditioned bus. We don't have very many. I called St. Louis and they said they would send one. I have no idea that the fire extinguisher.
But according to the standards that you set up with the drivers here, Norm, is that we don't get in a bus and we don't drive a bus who doesn't meet the standards. It did not have an insurance card in it. The fire extinguisher was outdated, and they brought that bus 150 miles. Okay. But yet we're told here, if you don't inspect the bus, we even had a girl that was dismissed, or she decided to quit.
Yes, and
because she did not.
Okay, well, we're gonna move on with the meeting because we could go
yeah,
like this
I
all that long, and we're gonna go with the superintendent's report this time.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing all that to our attention, though, Art. I appreciate it. As far as the superintendent's report, we still do not have allocations for the budget. You know, Illinois has a budget now, but they're holding up the funding for schools. I think Governor Rauner called him into special session today because he demanded they send SB 1, which is the Senate bill, with our funding tied to evidence-based funding, where we're going to actually benefit from that as a district if they would pass that. I guess the Senate refused to send it to him, so we're still kind of in limbo, same old, they're going back and forth. There's a lot of districts talking about not starting school on time if they don't get something, you know, obviously in August. I talked to Debbie today. We're sitting at about $1 million in cash left, correct, right now, before the payroll that comes out this week.
We did the payroll.
You already did the payroll, so now we're at 600,000 or something like that.
About a little under 4.
A little under 4.
Yeah,
So
after the payroll went through today.
After
And
the payroll.
is that 4, does that include that check from the insurance?
The insurance check.
They only sent us like, go back in November?
500, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That includes it?
So
We just got one the other day for what, 143,000?
Yeah, we are technically in the hole then, because that money we have, we owe the construction company for the repairs on the fire. So we're already in the hole.
We're using, when I say I mean, that's all our funds. You know, even kind of our restricted funds too, but we're allowed to do that as long as that money is there.
So that insurance ticket came in, so putting it in, holding it for the payment to the architects, it was just thrown into the general fund?
It's only put in the general fund, that's where it's supposed to be put.
So I think that's something to keep in mind. So
Yeah.
we're good through July, then we do not have enough money to make payroll for August if we do not get something from the state.
If we don't get anything from the state, if we don't get a state aid payment, no, we will not have it.
Typically, we get a state aid payment
I mean, in the past.
Typically.
Well, no, they
Right, but it-
threw us about 285,000, was that about what it was? That we didn't know we were gonna get before the end of June, that we were really surprised with.
Yeah, they sent one more categorical payment.
That we
They
didn't.
still was.
They got us through July, but they won't get us through August.
I basically think that we'll get a state aid payment.
I heard today from some superintendents that they think there's some emergency money to send out some sort of state aid. They don't know how much it'll
Might be
be.
prorated or something.
If they don't do anything with SB1, there's no telling what it'll be. But they're thinking we might get some kind of money pretty soon.
They'll be by the first payroll.
But at some point, we're gonna have to have a discussion if nothing changes, you know, for a contingency plan. We have, we still have those bonds, that are sitting there that we could probably liquidate, and get through approximately a month and a half, $2 million, right?
I guess it's about about three.
About three.
easy. I
Okay,
guess
so,
it'd be three easy.
so if we did something, it takes, what, 30 to 60 days to do that?
Yeah, that's what it said.
So we're trying to hold off
Or
on
you
that.
got them, you're talking about the tax anticipation.
Now, those are the bond. We can also do the
We're
tax
sitting on the
anticipation.
tax anticipation till the last minute.
Yeah, we're trying not to do that. because
Not to get in there.
We'll have to pay 4% on that.
Basically, what you said today, we're just barely making it, and we're watching every dime, and we've held off on a lot of supplies and things that we normally would have already ordered. We're
Ordered
just
it.
trying to
Pushing
wait.
back into the.
Yeah, trying to push that back till we have some money coming in.
Any
What
contact
are we
with
gonna do with that, about the insurance thing? What are we gonna do?
But
But
we'll just
nobody will
have,
be there when we have to pay.
if we get general state aid, we'll have the
Yeah,
money back.
that's all it's replacing on that.
We'll get that much though, Matt.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll have
For that.
enough
For-
for that.
yeah.
But it's just going to, we have to.
I know, and then we're
Back to zero.
That's an extra,
paying Peter.
that's an
No.
extra,
That's what we
yeah.
do
Yeah,
every
but we're
year.
not 1.7 million right now.
Yeah. But we'll see. It's definitely though, still iffy.
Well, it'll be close till you get this.
I didn't know
July,
about this time.
And you get this, you
You know,
know.
I was worried about this payroll. We speak by.
Right. If you get this, the July and August.
Yeah.
We make it through August, we gotta make.
Yeah.
So there's no
If they
other
get-
fund.
if the
we
state
can
gives
put
us
that
money, you know what I mean?
There's no other fund to put, you're supposed to put the education fund, the entrance, you said? We couldn't have created, I guess our concern was, we thought that that money would be set aside.
Never money set aside. It's
Okay.
just, it's a one big pot. We spend it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You would have had to borrow money back then. You've been paying interest on that. See what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
one big pot at the end of the year. Right now, it's payroll to payroll.
So actually,
Month.
it was kind of good that it took the
Yeah, that
insurance
we had
company
that.
so long
For
to
them to
start
do
the actual
anything.
repairs, because it's not good for Head Start, but they just now started working, so we haven't had to pay any bills really from them yet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's coming. So,
Are they starting like pretty soon?
yeah, they moved their trailer in today.
I guess we always look at the bills that are paid out, but we don't look at the deposits, so we were confused by that one.
Well, no, that's always like that.
Okay.
Everything goes into, now it goes into education, then we have to move it into Fund 60 when we get ready to pay.
So there's not a separate bank account for each of these?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
One bank account,
Different account
different,
numbers.
Yeah.
different classes.
Different funds, that's right. One bank account.
All right.
The only other thing I had, Mr. Walker had mentioned, we've had 326 parents successfully pre-register on that online system. They had set that up a long time ago when they rolled it out in July. That's going to save those parents a lot of time when they come in to register their students, so there's usually sets of paperwork they have to fill out. So we're trying to get that word out, because that's kind of like a fast pass lane for registration. If you fill that out online, and when you go in, you just have to pay your registration fees. You have to fill out the lunch form, because we're not allowed to put the federal forms on here. But I think that'll help out, and there was a big push for that when a lot of the surrounding schools started doing that. So this is our first year with that, but it seems to be going really
My daughter tried it out, and she said it worked real well.
yeah, and that's, the nice thing about that is it updates our student information system, whereas before someone had to sit down with all those papers and then type in the new phone numbers and the new addresses, and so this imports it right into that, which would be nice. We should have better contact information. And then the only other thing, another positive, since the budget's such a negative, we had a online professional development opportunity offered right at the first of the summer. Mr. Walker did. It went really well. In fact, it went so well, Melissa Thomason offered up a secondary online training to other teachers, so a teacher trained other teachers. And I just wanted to mention that she did that for free, you know, just helping other teachers out and sharing some of the stuff she does in her classroom. I think it went really well, and so we're trying to do more of that, because that's kind of free professional development using the resources we have. So just wanted to mention that. I really appreciate Ms. Thomason. She's a teacher out of Jefferson, doing that, putting in her time and doing all that. Well, that's all I had for the superintendent's report.
Okay, next is unfinished business. Do we have any of that?
I don't believe so.
Okay, or is new business? Need a consent agenda for consideration of minutes in the treasurer report, consideration of bills and payroll.
We do that all at once. You just need a motion.
And you had a chance to look through it. I've looked
Yeah,
at all of it.
I'll make that motion.
Make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second. Roll call, please, Lisa.
Mr. Bruger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Souders?
Yes. Need a,
The next thing, I believe these are just yearly things we have to do, Lisa, is it for every year?
so just go ahead and do the last three there together.
Yeah, do one at a
One
time.
at a
One
time.
each, okay.
And then-
Designation of City National Bank as depository of the district funds for 2017, 2018.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion second?
I'll say.
Have a second. Lisa?
Mr. Bruger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Souders?
Yes. Designation of Banterra Bank as depository for student activity funds and impress funds for 2017, 2018. Need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Lisa, please.
Mr. Bruger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Souders?
Yes. Need a motion for authorization of Karen Holland and Paul Foss to write impress checks as approved for the 2000, or for this year.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Second. Lisa?
Mr. Bruger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Souders?
Yes.
And the rest of it should be all at one time.
Okay. Next one would be the approve the yearly approval required by law and board policy. Extend the authority to the administration to hire temporary substitutes for the district. Extend the authority to the administration to remove students for 10 days or less for violations of schools, rules, and other misconduct in accordance with policy 7.200. Designate Superintendent Jason Hayes as the Title IX grievance officer for the district. Appoint the following two complement managers for sexual harassment and sexual discrimination issues, Brooke Durham and Jason Hayes. And appoint Mary Jacobs in charge of the food sales that compete with the federal student lunch program. Need a motion for that. Well, is there another in the back?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Oh, wow, we got a few more here. Designation of following student activity fund managers, MCHS, Parker Windhorse, Junior High, Laura Walker, MES, J.R. Conkle, Franklin and Jefferson, Rebecca West, Brookport and Unity, Brooke Durham, and then appoint Superintendent Jason Hayes as the Chief Investment Officer. Appoint Tom Walker as the District Liaison to Homeless Children. In order of succession of the superintendent and unable to act, Parker Windhorse and J.R. Conklin. Need a motion, then we go ahead with the, not that be it.
Yeah, that's it.
Need a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll say.
Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Bruger? Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
For the year.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Souders?
Yes.
Yeah, and I have a handout for the next one here.
The high school
Yeah,
yearbook.
the handbook, it's only a couple of changes on there. There's actually two main changes that they're putting on there. One is the absences from school. There is a change from the 7 to the 10 per semester. It's been 7 for years, and Parker called around the area schools, and a lot of the schools within our conference had made it 10, just because it changes things. For example, after 7 absences, you have to have a doctor's note, and the problem is you may just have a migraine or something, and not necessarily going to go to a doctor. But if you don't have a doctor's note after that 7th one, it's unexcused, you know. So basically giving them a few more until that unexcused mandatory kicks in, which will also go on to our excessive absences. So that's a minor change, but it's one that hasn't been looked at in years. And then the last one, the athletic training policy. Parker is recommending that we change that one line because we never included it in our handbook, and it's actually included in the athletic training policy when we adopted the drug testing policy. And the sentence is, if you attend a party or gathering and or ride in a vehicle where alcoholic beverages or controlled substances are being consumed by minors, basically our handbook wasn't aligned to our athletic policy. So that's what our policy's always said, and so he's wanting to change that so it'll be in line, so that when we look at those things, basically if you knowingly attend the party where that's going on, you fall under our athletic policy, and you're subject to the same consequences as participating in the activity. And that's the way it's been handled, it just hasn't been updated in our handbook. So, anybody have any questions about those two things? All other changes to the handbook for the high school are just cosmetic name changes and stuff like that, big changes. These are the only main policies.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Bruger,
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Ms. Larison,
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer,
Yes.
Ms. Steele,
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes.
Okay, I put on here a special board meeting if needed. We're getting close to all our staffing needs, but I think we're gonna need a special board meeting. I'm looking at the 7th because that still gives us a few days before school starts, before the teachers come back. Is everybody okay with that? If you're gonna be in town, or some people are gonna be gone. We're gonna have to make some last minute moves or hires, we'll have to do it then.
Is that at Darkberry or is that at 4 o'clock?
Whatever the board's preference is, I can do either one. I know,
Yeah, I won't be able to make, we're doing 5 days next week down at college, so couldn't be here before. Yeah.
well, we could do just
Before
normal
the-
time. I mean,
6:30?
Yeah, if that's better for you. I don't, we can do whatever
But I
time.
couldn't do 4 next, no.
Lisa, will you make sure,
6:30.
remind me of that?
6:30.
Did everybody get an updated meal sheet in your packet? That came from Mary Jacobs. She emailed me the calculation. I know this is kind of controversial because we don't want to make money in our meal program, but the federal government tells us what we have to charge for these things, and there's a calculator spreadsheet, and Mary showed me, and this is where these prices came from. And I think it's about a 10-cent change, something like that. So that, we need to approve that unless somebody, I think we have to do it, otherwise we're at risk of losing our federal.
Has it went up the last few years about that?
Yes.
About that?
That's same.
Yeah, and she has a program she puts in, it has to do with how many meals we're eating and what we're using, and I don't know, I'm still not understanding all of it. That's what it goes down.
You lose a lot more,
Yeah, we'd be at risk of losing a free reduced lunch funding, which we don't want to do.
Yeah, I need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Awesome.
Second, Lisa.
Mr. Bruger.
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Ms. Larison,
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer,
Yes.
Ms. Steele,
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes. Annual adoption of prevailing wage rate.
Yeah, you should have a handout in there.
What?
It's different this year, Lisa, right? It looks a little different, but we have to every year approve the prevailing wage, and then send that approval to the ROE, follow it, obviously.
Right.
And that's, I think Lisa pulled that up this year. This looks different, I guess, the way they presented it. Anybody have any questions about that?
I didn't have it. Need a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Beth made it.
I think.
Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes.
Okay, before we get to the items from executive session, we have to approve, this is time for the 6-month review, Lisa, for those minutes that we had, so we have to approve those minutes and then approve keeping them closed. Do anybody have
Any questions, objections?
So is this two motions then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked
First
over them.
motion
I looked
is,
over them too.
Recommend, they remain closed.
Okay, second,
second.
Lisa?
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes.
Is that all we had to do for those 6 months? Okay. And then now we have the, I just put those here. All the items in executive session.
Okay, next session, we need a motion to accept the retirement of Greg Kennedy for 2020.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
have a second, Lisa?
Mr. Berger. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes. Need a motion to hire Jackie Hodge as a special education supervisor.
I make that motion.
Need a
I'll second.
Have a second, Lisa?
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes. Need a motion to hire Representative Peterson for the English teacher position at MCHS.
And that's the open position for Mackenzie
Right.
Benson.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Lisa?
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes. Need a motion to grant Christine Berger a 1-year leave of absence per the MECA contract.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Lisa?
Mr. Berger. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes.
Okay, we just need to acknowledge the transfer.
Board acknowledges the transfer of Lisa Alley to MCHS guidance position formerly held by Rebecca West. And then we need a motion to the resolution to dismiss James Dreyer as presented.
So, there's a motion for dismissal for James Dyer.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Lisa, roll call.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes. One last one, need a motion to renew the part-time teaching positions for James Vallet and Keith Shelton for 1 year. The driver's ed. I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Lisa, please.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes.
I think that's.
I believe that's about the guy.
I had
I move
something
we
under.
adjourn.
Wait a second. I just wanted to mention something under other. I
Okay.
noticed in the paper that someone was actually prosecuted for their child being truant. And that's the first time I've ever noticed that, so I think Mr. Worthing, I think is our truant's officer.
Yeah, the new ROE takes that a lot more serious than our old ROE, and they have a process for that, and they took it all the way through.
That's right. It should happen more often.
Okay,
Is that all?
that's all I have.
Motion dismiss.
Larry gonna make that.
Matt, got a second?
Second, okay.
Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Roaching?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Hey, you're lucky. I didn't have another question.
You done a fine job on your actual